The lights just went out. You're standing in your own hallway, a hallway you've walked through 1,000 times, and suddenly your heart is pounding. Nothing has changed. The furniture is exactly where it always is, but your body doesn't believe that. Your body is bracing for something. Why? You already know the room is safe. You know there's no predator crouched by the coat rack, and yet some older part of you refuses to relax until the lights come back on. That part of you is not being irrational, it's being ancient. Go back further than you're comfortable going. Not centuries, not even thousands of years. Go back to a time before fire was reliable, before walls existed, before locks, before streetlights, before any of the inventions that now let you forget how dangerous the dark used to be. For nearly the entire history of our species, nightfall meant something specific and non-negotiable. Your best sense had just been switched off. Human eyes are extraordinary in daylight. We see color, distance, and fine detail better than almost any other land mammal. But at night, that advantage disappears almost completely. Meanwhile, the predators who hunted our ancestors, the big cats especially, saw significantly better in low light than we ever could. Reflective layers behind their eyes let them gather far more of the available light, so the moment the sun went down, the balance of power flipped. Humans went from being capable, alert, dangerous animals to being nearly blind targets in a world still full of teeth. This wasn't an occasional inconvenience. This was every single night for hundreds of thousands of years, for every single one of your ancestors. Think about what that does to a nervous system over that much time. Selection doesn't need a lifetime to make its point. It only needs one bad night. The humans who felt nothing when darkness fell, who wandered out from the group without hesitation, who slept in the open without posting anyone to watch, those humans occasionally didn't wake up. Their calm confidence didn't get passed down. But the humans who felt a jolt of unease the instant the light started fading, who instinctively moved closer to others, who found somewhere enclosed and defensible before the dark fully settled in, those humans tended to survive the night, and their children inherited that same jolt. You are one of those children, thousands of generations removed, but built from the same nervous system. There's a name evolutionary biologists use for the pattern behind this. It's called the smoke detector principle, described in detail by the psychiatrist and evolutionary theorist Randolph Ness. The idea is simple, but it explains an enormous amount about anxiety in general, not just fear of the dark. A smoke detector that goes off too easily is annoying. It beeps at burnt toast, it beeps at steam from the shower. But a smoke detector that fails to go off during an actual fire gets you killed. Evolution doesn't care about annoying. Evolution cares about survival. So natural selection consistently favors systems that overreact, that sound the alarm too often, rather than systems finely tuned to be accurate. A little unnecessary fear 1,000 times over is a small price to pay for avoiding even one fatal mistake. Your fear of the dark is a smoke detector, tuned by hundreds of thousands of nights where the fire might actually be real. But there's more to it than just visibility. There's also the specific shape of what frightens us in the dark, and that shape is oddly consistent across cultures that have never had contact with each other. The biologist Lynn Isbell has spent decades studying a theory now known as snake detection theory. Her research suggests that the primate visual system, including the human visual system, evolved partly under pressure from one particular ancestral threat, venomous snakes. Long before big cats, long before rival humans, snakes were already a serious and ancient danger to primates moving through grass and undergrowth. Isbell's work proposes that this pressure shaped our visual attention in ways that persist today. We detect snake-like shapes with striking speed, often before we're even consciously aware we've seen them. And in darkness, where shapes are ambiguous and mostly guessed at rather than seen, that old snake detection circuitry doesn't go quiet, it gets louder. Every coiled garden hose, every shadow with the wrong curve, every rope left on the floor becomes a candidate. Your brain would rather flag 99 ropes as snakes than miss the one snake that was real.
Now put these two systems together. a visual system essentially blind after sunset, layered with ancient shape detection circuitry, primed to see threats in ambiguous outlines, all wrapped inside a smoke detector that's deliberately biased towards false alarms. That combination is what's actually running in your head when you feel that specific, familiar dread walking down a dark hallway. There's a third layer worth understanding, and it has to do with where our ancestors actually felt safe in the first place. The biologist and psychologist Gordon Oriens developed what's known as the savannah hypothesis, studying why humans across wildly different modern cultures still show a consistent preference for certain kinds of landscapes: open grassland dotted with scattered trees, a slightly elevated vantage point, visible water nearby. Oriens argued that these preferences trace back to the East African environments where much of human evolution took place, environments that offered two crucial things at once: the ability to see danger coming from a distance and the ability to retreat to safety quickly if it did. Openness plus escape routes, visibility plus shelter. Darkness strips away exactly those two things. It removes your ability to see danger approaching, and it makes it far harder to identify a clear path to safety. You're not just losing light when the sun goes down, you're losing the two specific features your ancestors' brains were built to seek out and rely on. No wonder the dark feels like more than an absence of light. It feels like an absence of control. Here's the part that should genuinely reframe how you think about all of this. None of these systems know it's 2026. None of them know you live behind a locked door, in a building with neighbors, in a city with police response times, possibly with a dog who would absolutely notice an intruder before you did. Your prefrontal cortex knows all of that. It can recite the facts perfectly. But the fear response doesn't originate in your prefrontal cortex. It originates in far older structures, ones that formed their operating rules long before cities, before doors, before electric light existed even as an idea. Those structures were finished doing their job successfully for hundreds of thousands of years. They have no incentive to update. So when you feel that tightening in your chest walking to your car at night, or that instinct to walk faster past a dark alley, or that reluctance to get up for water in the middle of the night without turning on a hallway light first, you're not being paranoid, you're not being childish. You are running the exact same ancient threat assessment software that kept your ancestors alive on 100,000 nights before you were ever born. The software doesn't know the world changed. It only knows that darkness for nearly the entire history of your species meant reduced vision, increased danger, and no guarantee of seeing tomorrow. That doesn't mean you have to live ruled by it. Understanding where the fear comes from actually gives you something useful. You can meet a nighttime flinch with recognition instead of frustration. You can say quietly, "That's the old alarm system doing exactly what it was built to do," and then decide, with the part of your brain that does understand streetlights and locked doors, how much weight that alarm actually deserves right now. Tonight, when you reach for a light switch out of habit before your rational mind even asks why, notice what's actually happening underneath it. It's not weakness, it's not superstition. It's the oldest part of you, still standing watch by an ancient fire, still checking the dark for the danger it can't afford to miss.